Hey, what's up guys? Matt here. So I wanted to do a little bit different video today. So today I wanted to show you guys kind of a behind the scenes of how I film a lot of my videos here on the channel. I've gotten a lot of questions over the years as to what cameras I use, what editing software I use, and just how I produce some of the motorcycle videos that I do. And so I started using action cameras about 15 years ago, and it kind of started with me just mounting an action camera to my helmet and posting it up on YouTube and immediately getting a violation strike for using copyrighted music. So I've come a long way since then, but there's a couple things that I found that really make the best action footage or in motion on the motorcycle footage, and that is having a variety of shots, changing the shot often, and having different perspectives. That goes into having good variety, and motion of cameras as well. So I've done everything from mounting cameras to your helmet, and back in the day, a lot of guys could mount a camera to their helmet and have audio and just talk and have the exact same shot the entire video, and people would be satisfied with it because it was such a novel thing that you could actually see someone riding the bike. But of course those days are long over. Now things have evolved so much that really to capture people's attention for any given amount of time, you're gonna have to have a variety of shots, and to keep things interesting, you're gonna have to keep things moving. And then I started suction cupping action cameras on my front fairing or windshield, having face back shots, putting suction cup or clamping mounts back by my saddlebag to get like rear facing shots, and all that was great. But really what I found, and that I use still to this day, is handheld footage. And handheld footage is sometimes tough because a lot of people aren't comfortable with riding with just one hand. But having that motion and being able to direct the camera exactly where you want it, when you want it, is what I found to be the coolest shots and the most interesting and the best variety for people to enjoy. And then I started dabbling a little bit in 360 cameras. I had my cousin Daniel, who was on a trip with me. We went up to Glacier National Park. Some of you guys maybe remember that video, and that's the first time I posted 360 camera footage on a motorcycle ride, and that was really cool. It added another element of variety to it. But just having 360 footage alone without other footage in there, that footage it gets tiring. A lot of times the audio wasn't the best, and so I didn't really adopt the 360 camera onto my channel too much, and I kind of dismissed that technology for about 4 or 5 years. And then I saw a lot of people using the Insta360 cameras, and so I wanted to give the 360 camera another try, and this camera got a lot of rave reviews, and so I wanted to try it out for myself. And so I did. I got one, and I'm kind of sold now on these 360 cameras. Not as a one and only camera, but this gets you a lot of different varieties of shots that you just can't get anywhere else. The other thing that's nice about the 360 cameras is you can do everything hands-free. So recently we did a trip out to Anza Borrego, and we did a lot of off-roading out there, and I can't really ride with one hand when I'm off-roading, and so this was a vital instrument in capturing some of the shots that I got off-road. Insta360 has a lot of really cool accessories as well to make capturing these shots a lot easier and to get a variety of different shots. Like I said, variety is key. So this right here is an invisible selfie stick. So to get some of those third-person shots that almost look like a drone flying close to the bike, I use this invisible selfie stick. What this does is this will clamp. This is the heavy-duty clamp, Insta360 part as well. So I'm filming on the Ace Pro 2 right now. Fantastic vlogging camera, by the way. And I do it for like rolling footage as well. But the secret weapon is the X4 here. So I've got this thing mounted up. Got this thing mounted up here in the front. I'm using the invisible selfie stick. This thing's pretty cool because when you're filming, the stick does not show up in the footage. And then I've also got the heavy duty clamp here at the bottom. And then I've got the Moto support clamp up here. So this supports the selfie stick so that you don't get as much of like the wobbly shaking footage on this selfie stick here. So we're gonna go through the canyon here, get some 360 footage, and yeah, this thing's gonna turn out pretty dang nice, I'm sure of it. And then when you're editing the 360 footage, you can basically, you have the entire 360 view of everything that goes on 360 degrees around the camera, and you can pick which field of view you want when you're editing, and I'll show you guys a little bit of a tutorial on that as well. But having the 360 cam and running this in some of those like really cool areas, I probably won't run this too much on the freeway going in a straight line, but when you get to kind of those destination areas, maybe it's Yosemite, when you're doing like a curvy canyon road, I will always be running one of these now, just because you get such cool shots. You don't have to worry about missing the shot when you're riding. You can always go back and you can pick and edit exactly the shot you want, because this captures literally everything in a 360 degree range. Having this in conjunction with just a standard action cam, I now use this with the Ace Pro 2, which is an Insta360 camera as well. And that's gonna be really good for vlogging and just for that single lens, straight shot stuff. And I'll be doing a video on that camera in the future, because it's gonna be probably 80% of all the footage I take is going to be that Ace Pro 2. And this is going to be about another 15%. And then I use drone for a couple shots here and there as well. So here's another little setup shots for the X4, Insta360 X4. So I rigged up the heavy duty clamp here. Just looks like you got like a drone following you, which is pretty cool. And then I've also got the Insta360 motorcycle support clamp here. It supports the selfie stick a little bit more so it doesn't shake as much. Obviously you got a lot of leverage because you got a really long stick here. So we're gonna check it out and see how that footage comes out as well. I recently did a bike review video as well on the Lowrider S 2025 model year, and I had the X4 rigged up on a Livewire. A Livewire is the bike that I use for a lot of my filming, and I had this mounted on that behind me on the Livewire, and I had the Livewire right in front of the Lowrider S, and I could get some really cool shots. And what's nice is you can pan when you're editing this footage. You can pan with the bike, you can pan on like points of interest as well, and you don't have to worry about getting that shot handheld or looking with your head. If you have a action cam mounted to your helmet, you don't have to worry about always watching and looking where the shot needs to be. Instead, you can keep your eyes on the road and stay focused on the ride. So when I'm in technical areas, canyon, I probably will use it the most on like windy canyon roads, things like that. Maybe you're going through like the woods or something like that. Maybe you're doing Iron Mountain Road, up in the Black Hills or something. 360 camera is a really cool device to use. It will export in 4K as well. All my videos that I post to YouTube are 4K. The Insta360 will shoot up to 8K resolution. Now, what's beneficial about a really high resolution like that is you can punch in and zoom in to different riders that you're riding with in your group, or maybe it's a really cool subject matter in the scenery or something like that. I'm shooting mostly in 5.7K at 60 frames a second. 60 frames a second allows you to slow down the footage a little bit to half speed slow-mo. A lot of times I'll shoot just 30 frames a second as well, because most of my videos, I want to keep them as cinematic as possible. So I like the motion of the video to be just naturally what the eye would see. So a lot of it, what I shoot is 30 frames a second at 5.7K. At 5.7K, that still allows me to punch in a little bit. So pretty much my two weapons of choice are the Ace Pro 2 and the X4 Insta360 cameras. They're gonna get, like I said, 90–95% of all the footage I take on the channel. A lot of the walk around footage I get when I'm doing a model review, that's all like slowed down. The real detailed slow-mo footage I get at the dealership is on a mirrorless camera. But anything I get where I'm vlogging out like this, or anything that is going to be like behind, third-party perspective behind or in front of the bike, is all going to be the 360 cameras. So there's a couple accessories that I would also highly recommend as well. So I've mentioned the selfie stick is pretty much a must-have. If you don't want to use the selfie stick for whatever reason, you can use the heavy-duty clamp. So the heavy duty clamp can go right to your handlebars, so it's going to give you a perspective that will allow you to rotate real close to your body, so you can have kind of that face back perspective So you no longer need that suction cup out on the front of your bike holding your action cam. But most of the shots that I'm gonna do, just to keep things creative and unique, I'm gonna have the selfie stick. And there's another one that was vital out on the trail. So the premium lens guard, I highly would recommend getting some type of a lens guard. Insta360 has two different lens guards. They have their standard lens guard, then they have the premium lens guard. The premium one is a little bit stronger, so I prefer that one. Out on the trail, I was going by a lot of brush and the camera was getting hit by a lot of the trees and weeds and things like that. And so if I didn't have these lens guards on, there's a high likelihood that my lens could have cracked. By the way, highly recommend the lens guard. As I was going through the brush, I was tagging a bunch of trees and everything, and this thing got hit by a lot of the brush, stuff like this. And so yeah, if I didn't have the lens guard on, I probably would have damaged lenses right now, so definitely get the lens guard. Another thing that I've seen that has come a long way in technology over the last 15 years is audio on these cameras. Back in the day when I first started using action cams, pretty much all the audio was all useless. You know, you had to dub over voiceovers or music, things like that. So there's just a lot of music that people got tired of. Now, especially with the aid of the mic wind muff here, you can get some pretty dang good audio at higher speeds that's usable for your videos. Never have I really used audio off of the GoPro at speed on the bike, or if I did, it was dubbed way low. I had to lower the sound of the bikes way low because the wind noise. Nobody wants to hear a bunch of wind noise in your video. And that's honestly one of the biggest things that's difficult about getting good audio on the road on bikes is just the wind. So a lot of times for engine noise, I've hid a microphone in my back pocket or in the saddlebag or something like that where it was isolated from the wind, and I got decent audio doing that. But I was very surprised at the quality of audio I got from even the X4. So this action cam, I got some good audio here. Once you get up to like 60, 70, 80 miles an hour out on the highway though, it's tough to get really good audio, even with the best cameras nowadays. But on the trail, the audio was pretty dang good. I'll show some examples in this video here. So if you're a motorcycle guy like me on the X4, definitely get the wind muffs. You're gonna wanna get the premium lens guards as well, because if you're in the dirt, even out on the highway, if you catch a rock or something like that, you don't wanna break a lens on one of these cameras. That can get very expensive. And then the selfie stick to get a variety of shots. So one of the favorite things I have about the X4 Insta360 is the way you edit the 360 footage. And there's a couple different ways you can do it, but I like the quick mode the best because it's quick. And two, it's just kind of fun and it's very intuitive. So what you wanna do to edit any of the 360 footage cam is after you've taken everything, you just fire up the power button here, and then you're gonna wanna connect to the camera via Bluetooth on the app. So I've opened up the app here, and you're gonna wanna connect here. So I'm gonna press the yellow camera button at the bottom. I've already connected this phone before. It's gonna ask me if I wanna join the network. I hit yes. I'll show this footage up on the screen next to me here as well. So I've officially connected, and then I'm gonna click on album at the bottom, and now I have a bunch of my footage that I captured in Anza Borrego and another ride that I did up Ortega Highway recently. So I'm gonna click on that, and then it's gonna show me my footage. So now what I'm gonna do at the top, it says AI. So if you want AI to kind of pick the focal points of the shot, it's pretty helpful, and it's also very, very quick, easier than quick mode. But if you want to manually choose the field of vision manually by yourself, which I like to do personally because I like to be in control of every shot, I'm gonna go to quick mode. So quick mode, this allows you to basically move around, and as I move the phone, the 360 image changes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna, because I do a lot of my content on YouTube, I'm gonna hit the icon at the very top that flips it to 16:9 aspect ratio. If I'm creating content for YouTube, I use the 16:9 aspect ratio. If I'm doing something for Instagram or something, then I'm gonna go 9:16 aspect ratio, and that's gonna get me that up and down like profile for use on Instagram. So I'm gonna go 16:9, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the timeline here. I'm gonna find where I want it to start. So I'm gonna hit the red button that helps me record, and now I literally will just walk around and move around how I want the camera to look. So it uses the gyro in your phone to sense where you want it to film. So this is seriously the coolest thing. So if I want to get a shot behind me, I'm spinning around now. I'm looking at the guys behind me. Okay, I just hit a bush. Thank you, premium lens guard. Okay, I'm coming back around to see in front of myself. This shot right here is done with the invisible selfie stick, shot off the back of the bike. Okay, I hit another bush right there, as you can see. Okay, I'm bushwhacking for sure. I can literally just spin the camera, or spin my phone, I should say, wherever I want that shot to be. The other thing I can do is I can zoom out or zoom in. So there's my back, I'm zooming in. So I want to zoom out. A lot of people will kind of overuse the zoom out though and make it look like a little world, like he's going around the globe. I don't like those shots. The less distorted I can make the shot, the better in my opinion. It just looks higher quality. But if I want to look behind me, so I got Andrew riding behind me, I want to zoom in on Andrew, and there you go. This is shot in 5.7K, by the way. If I shot this in 8K, I would probably have a little bit higher resolution, although the resolution is not too bad at all. See, I'm tracking Andrew now, zoomed in. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, get the resolution back a little bit. Now the reason why I don't shoot everything 8K is because I'll leave this camera running for 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes, and it just takes up a lot of data, and for you to go back and to edit all that 8K footage, it just is very cumbersome for your computer, everything involved. It's just a lot of data. So 8K is great for those quicker shots where you know you got to get a good shot. Maybe you know you got to punch in real far. 8K is really good. And then what I'm going to do when I have my shot is I'm going to hit stop. And then it's going to replay it. And then what you can do is you can quick export or you can custom export. Quick export is great if you have a social media platform you just want to export it to and not really edit it much from there. But because I throw all my stuff into Adobe Premiere Pro, that's my editing software of choice, I'll go custom export. And then from here, so you can see here I have 4K 30 frames a second. That's where I like my footage when I export it into Adobe Premiere Pro. I like all my stuff in 4K. Because in YouTube, things get thrown up on TVs. I like to make my content suitable for a large screen and really high resolution. Some people just create content exclusively for Instagram and your cell phone and things like that. Because I do YouTube videos in 4K that can be shown on big monitors, I like to use 4K. And then what you do is you export it to the phone. So I hit export to phone. And then from your phone, you got to pull the footage off your phone. I personally use Google Drive. I take it from my phone, I send it to Google Drive, and then I log into my computer and I pull it off of Google Drive, and then I throw it into my editing software, and that's how I take the X4 footage off of here. So it does require some extra steps because you do have that extra layer of editing, just like I demonstrated here for the 360 footage. But it's pretty fun to do, and it doesn't take that long. And to get just all the autonomy you have with a 360 camera, being able to show exactly the field of view and the zoom in and zoom out from your software after the fact when you're not in the desert anymore, it's so huge. And again, if it's running when you're going through a really cool key moment in the ride, being able to capture that 360 field of view is kind of priceless, and I'll never go on another trip again without the X4 Insta360 Cam. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you learned some tips and tricks on how to create your own motorcycle videos and create those memories out on the road. If you're interested in getting either the Insta360 X4 or the Ace Pro 2, check out the link in my description if you want to support my channel, or you can purchase it from the products that are linked in the video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you have any questions on how to do some of the stuff that I demonstrated in the video, I'm happy to answer any questions in the comments section below. We'll see you guys on the next one. Later.